somewhere else, but this is where we found ourselves. Welcome to the local show. People you work with, people you know.
Welcome to our season premiere of The Local Show, guys. I'm Erik, Skarvan, your host. Welcome to our summer series. So excited to be back. Tan, rested, and ready. I even got a haircut, guys, and I took a shower. I've pulled out all the stops for our season opener. So excited to have back a friend of mine, longtime friend. She was on the show many years ago. I couldn't tell you how many. We've been doing this for like almost 19 years. But I want to welcome back local author, hippie chick, president of the Aspen Sister Cities program, Jill Sheeley.
Thanks, Erik.
Welcome back, Jill.
Thanks.
And you also work with Spellbinders, correct?
I do. We're now called Roaring Fork Valley Storytellers, but we're an offshoot of Spellbinders. So we are our own 501c3, storytelling in the Valley, all the way from Glenwood up to Aspen.
Oh my gosh. And what's your position with that organization?
So I'm president.
President, okay.
And I'm also a storyteller.
You just go for president. You just go to the top.
Yeah, go to the top.
That's incredible.
But we go to schools and do, special events, and it's really fun. Those little eyes looking up at you while you're telling them a special story. It's very rewarding. So if anybody wants to be a spellbinder or a storyteller, they should call me.
I love that.
Because we're having a training.
Because Tori's one of your storytellers, right?
He's
or no?
not. He's
or
one.
used to be?
No, he's a judge at our Liars Contest. So every year we highlight what we do with a Liars Contest, which is an adult thing.
Okay.
So Tori and Steve Child and Chris Wheatley are our judges.
Okay.
And then we have like Nina and Nina Gabrielli and Mike Bonroni and a couple of our other storytellers, and they tell a story and you have to judge whether it's true or false. And then we get the audience involved.
I love
so
that.
that's a really great event.
I love that. There's so much to talk about today with your books. People probably know you from your Frasier Dog series, and this is your most recent Frasier about his Christmas adventure. We also have a couple images we'll bring up with the books, but I wanted to kind of backtrack because you landed in Aspen in 1972?
70.
70.
70.
Okay. Hard to keep those 70s straight. And what was your Aspen story? Like, how did you land here?
Well, it actually started when I was 16 and I came to Vail to go skiing because I'd never skied before. And no one in my family, none of my friends, nobody skied. We were from Illinois and we just weren't up in that upper echelon where people went skiing every single Christmas. So my dad worked for an advertising company, and so he got all the patches from Ski Magazine because that was one of their clients. Oh. And I started looking up the different ski areas, and I didn't know anything about skiing. And then I watched Skier's Big Day on Walt Disney.
Yes.
Which was Susie Worth.
Yes,
so
living
between
at the sun
that
deck.
movie and between all the ski magazines that I read, I decided I had to go skiing. So I came to Vail in '67.
Oh my gosh!
With a ski club from the next town up. All I could do was snowplow, and then the next year, my girlfriend and I came to Aspen for a week during spring break, and that was it. I was going to college in Colorado. I was never going back to the Midwest. That was it.
So you had visited, that was one of the first years of Vail, I think, in the 60s.
It was like the first or second. It was very new.
Yeah, very new. And then how did you jump from Vail to Aspen? Like, had you
It was always going to be Aspen.
Okay.
It just happened to be Vail for that ski club.
Yeah.
But once we went on our own, my girlfriend and I were like, we have to go to Aspen.
And then you got influenced by the movie, which we love to show that movie during Christmas holiday.
Yes.
Of little Susie living up at the old sun deck and her St. Bernard. And
yes.
The scary scene at the end of the movie where she gets in a little avalanche.
Yeah, and I'm very good friends with the Worth family.
Oh my gosh, that's amazing.
So that's kind of what brought me here.
And then we've got a fun image of yourself and one of your, I guess, early boyfriends in Aspen.
Oh, Mike.
That's Mike.
Which one do you have?
Well, we've got a black and white. I thought it was yourself and Don.
Okay,
at the Agate.
That's
at the
Don
Agate.
and I. Yeah.
Okay.
That's not my old boy. I mean, it was my old boyfriend, but I married him.
Okay.
But the boyfriend before that was Mike.
Oh, okay. So there's Mike, then there was Don.
Mm-hmm.
And let's dig into the 70s a little bit because, I mean, most of us weren't around. I was lucky to be a kid on vacation here in the 70s. And I was a little bit younger, and then I fell in love with, I call her Miss Aspen in that era. But what was it like? Like, just to kind of describe it. Like, here's a fun way to think of it is, what would be 5 words that would sum up being a hippie in Aspen in the 70s?
Broke.
Okay, I like that.
Ski passion, to be able to go skiing and learn how to ski. I didn't really know how to ski when I came here. I was kind of a beginner,
Kind of a
intermediate.
beginner. Okay.
And I would say beauty. I would say the mountains.
Yeah.
And I would say fun.
Yeah.
And we had so much fun. I lived in Lanedo I lived in a trailer in Elgibel my first winter, but with Mike. And then when I met Donnie, we lived in a cabin that we kind of built onto with his sister and his best friend. So there were 4 of us and 4 dogs in this tiny little cabin up in Lanedo while the mill was still running.
Oh my gosh.
So we would wake up every morning, stoke the fire. You know, we had an outhouse. And go down to the Mesa Store Bakery to get ourselves coffee and donuts, which is probably the worst unhealthy thing you could do. But I said we were broke. And then we all went to work. Donnie worked at Buttermilk. I was working at Highlands.
Oh my gosh.
And so, yeah, that was amazing. And then back up, you know, we had no place to cook dinner, so we'd go to Pinocchio's for dinner. And then go back up at the end of the day in the dark. And I got a chainsaw for my 21st birthday. Because we had to cut wood every single night. We didn't, you know, we weren't prepared because we didn't move into this place until November.
Oh my gosh.
So it was wild.
It was real survival up there.
But
so
it was
I had
so
a
fun.
summer I lived up in a teepee in Lanedo.
Okay.
With Sally Pierre, who no longer lives here, but she was a, 40-year resident. Sally was amazing, lived just above Lanedo on the little creek in the teepee. So I could totally appreciate it.
Was that Kathy Lamb's teepee?
I think it was.
Yeah,
I think
Kathy,
she got it from Kathy.
Kathy lived there with her child. She had a child,
Oh
like
my
a
gosh.
baby up there.
I mean, this is an authentic teepee, but it had like, nice oriental rugs on the dirt. But anyway, and then just day to day. So it was just ski bumming pretty much and working the ski bum.
And skiing.
That was pretty much it.
That was it.
What about the party scene? Like, it is a family show, Jill.
Well,
can you tell us a little bit about the party
We had a
scene?
lot of parties up in Lanedo.
Yeah, okay.
Because everyone was like, it was such a novelty. Like, we'll come up to Lanedo, we'll bring dinner.
How cool.
And then we'll hang out. And plus there was great cross-country ski, like above Lanedo.
Yeah, sure.
So on the weekends, we would cross-country up there. But I would probably have to say that first winter, there wasn't any partying for us in town because we still had that treacherous drive up to Lanedo when the road was not like it is now.
Yeah.
It was pretty treacherous in those days.
Okay.
Yeah.
So kind of more laying low because you guys were kind of remote. So there wasn't a lot of downtown Aspen party type stuff.
Not then.
Okay. But then
They
moving
partied up
forward,
in Lanedo.
when did the Powder Sluts
Oh,
group
not till
start?
the 80s.
Okay, so that started up in the 80s. And can you tell us a little bit about the Powder Sluts? We have a fun picture, too, that we'll bring up.
So I skied a lot, and I used to ski a lot at Snowmass because my husband was on ski patrol.
Oh, okay.
So powder was my favorite, kind of skiing. I just lived for it.
Oh, I know.
And there was this whole group of girls that I kept seeing at Snowmass. And finally, one day they came up and said, "Hey, you want to come skiing with us?" And I was like, "Sure." And after time went on, we didn't have really cell phones or anything like that, but there was the telephone network. So someone would call someone, and then we'd meet usually at Snowmass because it's so huge. And I knew all the secret spots because Donnie was on patrol there. And so as years went by, we got Powder Slut suits on and hats and, the whole regalia. And then people would see us in the lift lines and they go, "Powder Sluts?" And we would go, "Yeah, we live for powder."
That's incredible. But it wasn't just Snowmass. You would go around where the powder was?
We skied
but it was mostly Snowmass.
We mostly skied Snowmass.
Okay.
Because, again, I knew all the secret spots.
Right.
Where we could ski after. Aspen Mountain always used to get skied out pretty quickly.
Yeah.
And still does.
Today now it's just a piranha feed, right when it opens to just race for it. And tell us a little bit about Don, because he was one of my favorite guys in Aspen for so long and ran Aspen activities. People remember Don. He had kind of always had that crazy blonde haircut, and he was a pretty
Bull number 4.
flamboyant. Yeah, bull
number
cut.
4.
Pretty flamboyant, really positive. That's what I really remember. And it was funny because he was one of the guys who would call me, actually maybe one of the few in my entire life. If I was past due on a bill, he would actually make it a fun phone call.
Oh.
Say he was collecting from me.
That's funny.
Like I was a couple months past my brochure distribution for Sundog Athletics.
Yes.
But he does, "Erik, Don, Sheeley," and we go off and have this great conversation. He was always so fun. And can you tell people a little bit about Don?
So I met Donnie in 70. And as I said, we moved up to Lanedo. We didn't really know each other all that well. But, he was so cool. Like he was, worked at the ski shop and he was teaching. He started the sailing program in Aspen.
Right.
He loved sailing. And he went up to Rudai, and Fritz Benedict was running the club then. He owns all the land. He bequeathed it to us all.
Okay. Yes.
And Donnie was like, I'm going to start a sailing club because, he used to be a canoe counselor.
Okay.
And he loved to sail. There was really no canoeing. I mean, you canoe, we canoe, but it wasn't like that was going to be a thing.
Right.
So he went to the recreation department and went up to Teddy Armstrong, who's a character, and said, I want to start this program. And Teddy goes, well, I don't know where you're going to get funded because sailboats cost a lot of money. And he goes, well, Fritz is going to let us use the yacht club, which was just a shack. Still is kind of a shack. And he said, I'm just going to go to the thrift shop. I know all these cool ladies who work at the thrift shop. And they funded all the boats and the life jackets.
Amazing.
And he started the program, and he ran it until he died in 2017. Ran it right till the end.
Unbelievable. Mm-hmm. So he passed about 6 years ago.
Yeah.
That's incredible. Mm-hmm. That's incredible. Yeah, such a dynamic character. He's really
with his red moped.
Yeah. And just
Brooks Brothers shirts.
Yeah, he was kind of he had his character. He wasn't
Bermuda
afraid
shorts.
to be himself.
Remember his Bermuda shorts?
Yeah.
All
Bermuda
different
shorts.
colors.
Yeah.
And topsiders. Topsiders all winter. No boots, just topsiders.
You know who that kind of reminds me of? Charlie Tarver. When Charlie was running the hub.
I wouldn't compare those two, but
Charlie wore a pink Oxford in the winter and shorts. So guys who are not afraid to be characters, and I like to say if we want to maintain Aspen's character, we need to maintain the characters, which means house them, take care of them, nurture them. We're going to take a quick break, Joe, because we've got so much to get to, including your books, including some of your cookbooks. But I do want to thank my summer underwriters for making this series happen. We want to thank our sponsors, Aspen Square, Haiti Children, Klug Properties, Picken County Solid Waste Center, Silver Peak Grill, Sundog Athletics, Susie's Consignment Aspen, and introducing our new exclusive presenting sponsor, the historic Wheeler Opera House. We're going to go to our only break of the show, guys. We'll be back in 2 minutes with Hippie Chick, author, president of the Sister Cities program, Jill Sheeley. Don't go away. At the Wheeler Opera House, we set the stage for connections that create memories for our audiences, artists, and greater Aspen community. At the Wheeler Opera House, all are welcome. You're welcome to be a part of history.
I'm so passionate about this community. I absolutely love living here and raising my family here. It gives me a lot of pride to share this with my friends and my clients and help them achieve their dreams of owning an Aspen snowmass and enjoying this incredible lifestyle.
Donate, shop, and save. The Mother Lode Mercantile, now open at the Picken County Landfill.
Providing exceptional service for over 50 years, Aspen Square features studio and larger condominiums for nightly rental with an ideal downtown Aspen location. They offer fully equipped kitchens, wood-burning fireplaces, and private balconies with full hotel-style services and gracious hospitality. Aspen Square is proud to support the local show. Sundog Athletics, Aspen's adventure sports school, is your opportunity to experience Aspen's most amazing adventure locations and gain new skills to increase your safety, performance, and enjoyment while mountain biking, road biking, hiking, and paddling on Aspen's exclusive canoeing adventure.
Welcome to the local show. People you work with, people you know.
We're back here on the local show, guys. Season premiere of our summer series. Thanks so much for joining us. We've got Jill Sheeley, been here over 50 years now. Incredible. And you're probably most well known for, Jill, is your Fraser Dog series. Could you tell us a little bit about the inspiration? I'm imagining it was because of your dog, Fraser.
Yes.
But could you give us a little,
Well, I had just been to
inspiration?
Martha's Vineyard in Nantucket. And
Okay.
so they have the Black Dog, and it's a bakery.
Oh, that's right.
And they have T-shirts.
Famous.
And literally people were waiting a block away to get a T-shirt. And I'm
Okay.
like, Black Dog, Black Dog. Okay, I have a Yellow Dog. Okay, I'm going to make Yellow Dog T-shirts. That was really kind of how it started. I was trying to come up with an entrepreneurial idea.
Okay.
Meanwhile, I had already written these 3 books, The Christmas in Aspen, Taste of Aspen, and Lighter Taste of Aspen.
Okay.
So
We've got some of these we're going to bring
So
up
I
on the
had
screen, too.
So I had a daughter, and I had this Fraser dog who was amazing, and he was not rescued, but he was a rescue dog. We had kept hearing stories about him and all his antics, because we didn't leash our dogs on Brush Creek back in those days.
Right.
Nobody cared. The dogs would he'd go to all the neighbors' houses, go into all the doggy doors, and make himself at home. Some of the neighbors would come home, and he'd be on their couch. It was just fine.
He's like the neighborhood guy.
Nobody cared.
Yeah.
He was the
It was-
man.
it was
But
casual.
he saved a little girl from our pond from drowning. He saved Bland Nesbitt's dogs who were being attacked by these Rottweilers. And then this little old lady wrote us and said that she had lost her little dog in a snow patch. She couldn't get to the dog.
Oh my
so
gosh.
all of a sudden Fraser shows up and he's making a little path back and forth and back and forth. So I'm hearing this story and I'm like, wait a minute, I've got this daughter doing all these really cool things, at the Aspen schools. She's going on adventures. I've got a husband who's on mountain rescue and ski patrol. I've got Fraser the yellow dog, and I've written all these books, so I'm going to combine it, and I'm going to write a book instead of T-shirts, because the truth was, the idea of doing a yellow dog Aspen, Colorado, it just wasn't really my passion.
Yeah.
But the book became my passion, so I tried to sign up to take a children's book writing course at CMC.
Okay.
And Rob Seidemann wrote me and said, I'm so sorry there's no one signed up but you. And I wrote him back and I said, well, I have got this great idea. Would you help mentor me? And
neat.
so he was my first editor for that book. And his first comment was, I wish I had written it. So we worked together for a few
Wow.
months. And
So you were a natural. Like you had
well, I
some,
wouldn't
you
say
had
I was
some
a-
abilities.
I wasn't a natural, but it was fun.
Yeah.
I'm very wordy.
Yeah.
You have to cut the words down when you do a kid's books. But it was it was fun to learn.
Yeah.
And so this was a great book, and it was based on my experience. I actually got caught in an avalanche when I was heli skiing at CMH.
Oh my gosh.
And what happened is, I'd gone up there, I was in the middle of this book, and I was like, go up to the guys, and I was like, hey, what's it like to be caught in an avalanche? And they were like, we never have been. So the last day, the last run, honest to goodness, the slide comes, buries me up to here.
No way.
And, I didn't do it on purpose, but it was so ironic that it actually was like it was for her, where she was buried to her waist, and you can't move.
Yeah.
Avalanches are tough, and they're
I've
like
been
being
there,
in cement.
actually.
So
Yeah.
you can't even move your foot. It's not like, you just go like this. No. So that was really fun, and I started going around to schools and making sure it wasn't too scary for the kids. But of course, Fraser saves Courtney in the book. And then that was the first book, and it was successful, and it was fun, and it led to all these other books.
That's amazing. See, I didn't know that those were based on real
Yes.
events.
Yes.
We have a fun picture too of you, yourself, and Fraser, who's got a red bandana.
Yep.
And it said Maggie.
Maggie.
In the blue bandana.
Yeah, so Maggie gets found on Aspen Mountain, and that is
Okay.
actually the Raspberry Ward, Craig Ward.
Yes, of course.
So that's
Yeah.
the Raspberry Ward story where
Okay.
Craig and Bob Wade and all those guys were up at a hut on top of Aspen Mountain.
Oh my
and
gosh.
Raspberry was a puppy and fell into a mine shaft. So that was based on that story. So they're all based on true stories. The backcountry story was Donnie and I had gone to a hut, and we had to go back out because our babysitter was only going to watch her for another hour.
Oh,
so we
boy.
had to get out.
Oh, geez.
And we left at the altimeter. It had been a blizzard. We were, honest to goodness, we were a little unprepared.
Serious.
And everything had covered our tracks. But, we found our way back, and that's what happens to the girls. But they don't leave. They build a snow cave and stay together like you're supposed to do.
So that must be an interesting, thinking about this and listening, a little bit scary for kids. So you have to find that balance where
Yeah.
it's like it's based on a real story and it is pretty
Right.
scary,
Right.
but you don't want to scare them too much,
Right.
right?
And
so you have to kind of edit that. And
So instead
soften
of
it up.
lowering the backpack down to get the puppy that's in the mine shaft in the summer adventure,
Okay.
Actually, what Bob Wade did was he went down in the backpack.
Oh.
But we don't want to, get
Right,
kids
because it's a
thinking
little
they
bit
should-
too
Yeah.
intense.
Yeah.
So how can people find your books? You've got a website.
So I have several local stores that sell them. I mean,
Okay.
obviously Explore and Carl's and Aspen Eclectic and Monkeys. They're kind of all over Aspen.
Okay.
In bookstores and gift stores and Snowmass too, and bookbinders in Elgibel
Okay.
and Carbondale.
Okay. And then is it JillSheeleyBooks.com?
It is.
They can also find the books there and learn about the books and the stories behind
Yep.
the books. And that's so fun. So it's really like a manifestation of really just, like you said, you pulled together all these components from your real life
Yes.
experiences, wrote these kids. And how do kids respond?
Oh, they love them.
Like when you're reading, that must be one of the most
They
fun
get so-
things, right?
well,
when you're
one of the
reading
most-
your book. to
I would say
kid.
the most rewarding thing is reading them at school to my grandson's little preschool class.
Right. Awesome.
And he's like, that's my grandma.
That's my grandma.
That's
He's
my
all
grandma.
proud.
And my mom's in the book. And all the other kids are like, how come my mom's not in the book? Like, sorry.
Let's touch on, well, we still have a little time. Let's touch on sister cities because
Okay.
a lot of us have heard of it, but we don't know, what it's all about. And can you kind of give us an overview
Sure.
as the president of our Sister
Yes.
Cities program?
So I'm very proud to be the president. And we have 7 sister cities. And we've been going since Garmisch in the 60s. And it's been amazing. I mean, the relationships that have been formed over the years are really crucial. And I think the best part about what we do is send students
Yeah.
from Aspen to these other countries.
Right.
And they will come to our meeting and do a follow-up, and they have grown up in 3 months. I mean,
Life-changing. You
From
can see
the
it.
interview to the traveling to bonding it up with their co-travelers, and then going to another country and staying with a host family, eating new foods, hearing another language. It changes their life.
Can I sign up?
You're a little too old.
And is there a spot in
But you
Norway?
could go as an exchange, like maybe an interview or something.
So is that what it's about, really?
We
Just
do-
exchanging adults
yeah.
and kids going back and,
And
forth?
kids,
And
yep.
what are this? It's Garmisch? Is it Chamonix?
Oh gosh, you're gonna. Okay, so Garmisch, Chamonix, Abetone, Italy.
Okay.
We have Bariloche, Argentina,
Yep.
Shimokapu, Japan, and Davos, Switzerland. Now, Davos, Switzerland is a sort of a defunct sister city. It's
Okay.
there because we had a relationship, but we don't do anything active. And then the last one is Shimokapu, Japan. And I'm actually going over there with a whole group of Aspenites because they're celebrating their 30th anniversary with Aspen.
And are they all resort type towns?
They're all basically, yes. They're all
ski resorts?
Yes, they're
All of them?
all, yep.
Okay. That sounds super cool. And then how can locals kind of get involved in that program or learn more?
We have a meeting at 5 o'clock in the new City Hall upstairs, 3rd floor, every Thursday, second
Okay.
Thursday of every month, 5 o'clock, except for
Okay.
July.
Okay.
And except for this Thursday, we're going to be at one of our members' houses.
Are there any cooperative programs with the sister cities where you guys try
Well,
to
it's
like,
mayor to
push-
mayor. It's
Okay.
mayor to mayor. So we are
Okay.
very involved with the City of Aspen.
Okay. Do you share like political ideas or
No.
do you do any initiatives politically, like climate
We
change?
do,
or
yes,
anything
we
like
do a
that?
lot of environmental sustainability.
That seems
We're
like-
working with the Aspen Institute to get the kids to do programs, and the Bayer Institute. We work with, the Aspen Art Museum,
Right.
the Historical Society. So we bring everything, all the resources in.
Okay.
So the kids have an amazing experience while they're here.
So you've had such an amazing life, Jill. And we've only just scratched the surface. Living in Aspen, traveling around the world. Amazing adventures with your husband Don, et cetera, et cetera. And I guess what do you look back on most fondly in the time you've been in just the Aspen aspect of it? Like, what do you
Well,
grasp onto and
definitely-
cherish the most?
Definitely having a daughter here,
Yeah.
raising a daughter in this town was amazing. For sure, community. Community to me is everything. When people say, oh, you're from Aspen, like you're all millionaires there, I'm like, no, actually we're not. And actually, you go to a memorial service in Aspen, and that's where the real Aspen
Yeah,
is. That's when
exactly.
people come out of the woodwork
Yeah.
and support each other.
Yeah.
I mean, someone is down on their luck and there's a GoFundMe page, everyone puts whatever they can into it. So it's all about community for me.
I agree. And so the community
family.
aspect, it's still here, right?
Oh,
And would you say that's one of the strengths from the 70s that's still in Aspen currently?
Yes.
One of your favorite things?
Yes.
That's just stayed consistent all the way through that time.
Yep.
That's what I think too.
Yes.
And you know when it showed last week when I had Trash Crush, we did an annual spring cleanup of all the litter,
Nice.
all the roads and paths coming out of Aspen. In 3 hours, 33 of us who are really core, like Linda Vitti and Peter Lorum and the Lorises and all these longtime locals, on and on, Karen Teague, just it was just like a who's who of these like longtime locals. It really felt like community. And we all just got together for a common cause.
Right.
And I think the more we do that moving forward, whether it's events or gathering places, what's your hope kind of moving forward with Aspen in maintaining that community? What do you think the best ways are to do that?
That's a really hard question to answer.
It is hard.
It's a hard question.
But maybe some of those things, like gathering places and events.
Yeah.
And we got to kind of wrap the show, but are you are you on the same wavelength?
Yes, for sure.
Okay.
Yeah.
Did you have fun on the show today, Jill?
I had a great time. Thank you.
You earned cookies, Jill.
I'm so excited.
You've got a parting gift bag.
Yay!
There's some cookies inside there.
I can't wait. Oh, wow. I get this.
There's some really groovy stuff. I call them groovy squishies, courtesy of our partner at
Oh, and this
Picken
is
County
probably a
Solid Waste Center.
recyclable.
We got a reusable straw in there.
So this is all.
Reusable beverage
How do
container.
they make these?
Well, those are things you can get if you stop by the Picken County Solid Waste Center.
What is this?
And Jill, make sure, like we talked about before the show, Motherlode Mercantile. And we got to go. We're out of time. Thank you for being here.
This is. Thank
Thank you guys for watching this week on The Local Show, our season premiere. At the Wheeler Opera House, we set the stage for connections that create memories for our audiences, artists, and greater Aspen community. At the Wheeler Opera House, all are welcome. You're welcome to be a part of history.
I'm so passionate about this community. I absolutely love living here and raising my family here. It gives me a lot of pride to share this with my friends and my clients and help them achieve their dreams of owning an Aspen snowmass and enjoying this incredible lifestyle.
Donate, shop, and save. The Mother Lode Mercantile, now open at the Picken County Landfill.
Sundog Athletics, Aspen's adventure sports school, is your opportunity to experience Aspen's most amazing adventure locations and gain new skills to increase your safety, performance, and enjoyment while mountain biking, road biking, hiking, and paddling on Aspen's exclusive canoeing adventure.
Welcome to